To show you top 100 electrical engineering MCQs. So I have formulated this 100 MCQs which are in front of your screen. So the first MCQs is the poles use of DC machine. So this question is related to DC machine. The poles are fastened by counter sunk screws. And the second one is which is the disadvantage of Gauss saddle method over Newton's method. The main disadvantage is there are more number of iteration is Gauss saddle method. The third one is the quantity of Rm which relates dependent voltage to control current is called trans resistance. And in the fourth one, for which purpose bundle capacitors are employed to a power system. So we use bundle capacitor in order to improve corona and in order to increase the short circuit current. And in the 5.1, radio frequency chokers are air cored. We make them air cored in order to keep inductive reactance low. In the sixth part, fundamental property used in a single node pair circuit analyzer is that the voltage across all elements is same. So in the seventh one, landfill gas is what? Methane. So in the 8th and 9th one, it is in front of your screen. So the average fossil fuel plants converts about 33 to 40% of the power going into the power going out. If the field resistance of a DC shunt generator is increased, so if we increase the DC shunt generator resistance, what beyond is critical value? So the generator will not build up. It will not build up. So you cannot increase the DC shunt generator resistance beyond its critical value. So in the 10th part, so this is the example of PN junction diode. So the PN junction diode only lets the current in only one direction. So if the polarity of the battery is reversed, you cannot have another current flowing in that direction. So what is the probability of 2 when a dice is thrown? So there is only 2 in a dice of total 6. So 1 divided by 6. If the input capacitor of a power supply is shorted, then the result will be no voltage output. If a power supply is shorted, you will get a voltage output. So admittance is the reciprocal of impedance. The impedance means the resistance offered by the magnetic field, and admittance is reverse of impedance. And in the 14th one, it is said by, where is the 14th one? Okay, in the 14th one, dash is a byproduct of paper industry. So black liquor is a byproduct of paper industry. In the 15th, runtime, we make the decision at runtime when it is dynamic blending. So the firing angle of in SCR rectifier is decreased, then output will be increased. In the 17th one, all values of time, we have continuous time signal. So in the continuous time signal, we have all the values at all times. So there is another relation. What is the following condition relate line resistance and the line reactance? So this is a relation which relates line resistance to line reactance. There are dash type of dependent sources. So you have to know there are 4 types of dependent sources. So in the 20 discrete device, which is discrete device FET, is described on the base of, we describe FET on the base of control gate construction. So at the 21, at very sunny places, we use solar panels. So in the 22, main purpose of a modulation process is, the main purpose is to increase the signal to noise ratio. In the 23 part, which line is obtained by method of least square? We have best fit line from the method of least square. So the question was that a power transformer what is transfer power? It does not mean that it just increase the power level. It just take power from one circuit and give this power to another circuit. So in general, transformer just transform voltage and currents. So in the 25, convolution X and T, so it is that it does not algebraic ordinary algebra, it is multiplication. So in the AC, we have power factor which is defined by cos theta. So power is equal to VI cos of theta. In the 27, modulation index in amplitude, modulation is what is defined as the measure of extent of amplification variation above a unmodulated carrier. So we have to see the unmodulated carrier in terms of what? Amplitude variation. So Fourier series are infinite series of elementary trigonometry function, which is a sines and cosines. So the SCR will goes into saturation when cathode gate junction is what, forward bias. So when you give it forward bias, the SCR will goes into saturation. Dropout to cutoff ratio of the most relays are in order of 0.6 to 1.0. The copper oxide allows current to flow through the meter in only one direction, which is rectifier. Rectifier will not allow the current to flow in another direction. Okay, in the 32 part, DC generator have what? Commutator on the rotative shaft that convert AC to DC. There are two types of overload protection. One is instantaneous and the other is time over current. In the 34th part, single sideband technology are mostly employed for what? So we have single bandwidth technology for conservation of transmitted power and bandwidth. So in the 35th, from the same peak value voltage, the wavefront will be the least RMS value will be in triangular wave. Which of the following source have the highest power generation capacity? It is a nuclear power plant which have highest power generating capacity. So in usually the high tension cables can be used for electric power transmission, but the voltage should not exceed 11 kilowatts. So in the 38th, the line integral of an electric field around a closed loop is equal to the negative of rate of change of magnetic. This statement is of Faraday Law of Induction. So the partial differentiation fxy and fyz are called dash derivatives. They are mixed partial fractions. Green function is always used for partial diffraction equation. So it is a technique which is used for solving partial differential equation, what? Green's function. So in the 41, the sum of all potential difference in a closed loop through the circuit should be what? Equal to 0. It is a KVL law. Unguided propagation involves what? Free space propagation. In the free space, it is unguided. So preferring a dash, what is this? Source transformation using Ohm law to take a existing voltage source in series and resistance and replace it with current source in parallel. This is a source transformation. So in the 44, dynamic resistance of a diode is what? Change as a function of applied voltage. In the 44, the triac is a what? Bidirectional device. So you can use triac on the word triac is derived from tri and AC. So in this you can have AC current in both directions. So it is a bidirectional device. In all, conductive objects are bonded to what? Some same earth grounding system. So the risk of electric short will be minimized. In open loop control system, input is what? Independent of output. But in the closed loop, in closed loop control system, input is dependent of output. So we are taking determinant here. Error in the computer is called what? Bug. A system is dash. A system will be marginally stable if its natural response decays nor grows. So it will oscillate about its mean position. So we will call it marginally stable. But when it decays, we will call it stable, and when we will have exponent function, we will call it unstable. In the n-type materials formed by doping pure silicon, then we have pentavalent impurity in order to make silicon n-type material. In the 51, the main criterion for selection of size of power distribution usually depend upon voltage drop. Self-inductance of solenoid is directly proportional to its area of cross section. So the self-induction of solenoid will depend upon its area of cross section. Transmission line mostly use high voltage what? 3-phase alternating current, and you have to see the upper part. The first line of the transmission line is ground line. In a DC generator, brushes on the commutator are shifted from geometric neutral point to another shifted from geometric and neutral position in order to avoid sparking. In the 55th one, the electrical dipole moment per unit volume of a dielectric is called polarization of dielectric. The negative maximum cosine will be the correct 180 degree. For our current amplification in BGT, we mostly use what? Both common collector and common emitter configuration. If you have 2 points VA and B, then it is represented by VAB. Then we will take A as reference node. Stepper motor is a dash motor. It is a direct current motor. A state during which nothing happens, it is called nope. A relay used for protection of motor against overload. So it is a thermal relay which protects the motors against overload. So transformer is protected by Buckles relays. Solid grounding will be used at below 660. You cannot use solid grounding above 660. An ideal voltage source have what? Zero internal resistance. An ideal current source have infinite internal resistance. In the 66 path, a moving iron ammeter current have few turns of thick wire in order to have low resistance. Electric lines of force about a neutral charge are radially inwards. So when we see a negative charge, we will see the lines are radially inwards, and in case of positive sign, they are radially outwards. A discrete system is what? Discrete in both amplitude and time. So dash is defined as the measurement of instrument by which it is error free accuracy. A diode has a negative resistance, so you will see a tunnel diode has negative resistance. Its graph will be first increasing, then you have a decreasing graph. So it is a tunnel diode which current is produced by tunneling. Which type of engine use maximum airflow ratio? It is gas turbine. So which instrument has same calibration for AC as well as DC? It is hot wire type. In EM, electromagnetic field and current are concentrated close to the surface. This is called skin effect. So you will have a skin effect. So it means that the electron will flow on the outer edges of your conductor. Light is produced in electrical discharge lamp by what? Ionization in vapor or gases. Dash diodes act as voltage control variable capacitor, which is a varactor. When you see the when you see construction of the varactor, you will see that you can control its capacitance by voltage. By which meter after checking with no current return to previous state is called controlling torque. By connecting a shunt of high values ammeter, what will happen? Current sensitivity will decrease. So current chopping occur in air blast. So from the signal, I have done the solution of it at here, but to my bad luck it is raised. So for the signal of cos of pi t, you have to equal it to 2 pi f. Then you will have the fundamental period as 1 over t. Z transform RC will centered at origin. So 81. Single phase rotary converter power factor is unity. Then you will have 1.4 DC current ratio. Rectifier is a non-linear device. So in 83, a permanent magnetic coil has its features of what? All. Electric energy is stored in lead acid battery. We just store electric energy in lead acid battery. What is handoff? Handoff means the shifting coil from one cell to another. Which electric field is parallel to the plane of incident? It is hyperbolic polarized. Moving coil ammeter can measure DC current. Due to the voltage saturation, MOSFET enter into saturation region at what? Before pinch off. Which of the following is not bilateral? So diode is unilateral because it just allows the flow of current in only one direction. Resistance allows the current in both direction as well as capacitor and inductor. Which of the following contact point has the highest melting point? Tungsten has the highest melting point. In rotary converter, we have partial AC and partially DC. Which night bulbs operate on lowest power? You will get the lowest power on torch lamps. Which instrument cannot be used for DC measurement? You cannot use induction type as DC because induction is just for AC. Which type of system is referred as pneumatic system? It is a pressure. So wherever pneumatic comes, it is pressure. The voltage above 230 kilowatts, it is a extra high voltage. Lowest voltage like 66 kilowatt and 33 kilowatt are sub transmission voltages. So every preamplifier in amplifier circuit contains a class A to achieve linearity. It is a very important question. Diac, we have diac. It is two terminal bidirectional switch. When you see the construction of diac, you will see how it is a two terminal bidirectional switch. What is the reciprocal of power factor? It is a Q factor. So what is a percent of symmetric fault? We only have 5% symmetric fault and the rest 95% faults are unsymmetric. So I hope that this video will help you in your exam or in your other study stuff. So if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up. See you next time.